Hey, hello guys. So welcome to this Tychus guide. I'm here with Noobility. Hello, Noobility.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
I take that as a hello. Hello. Thank you, Vafe, for the red. You didn't. I didn't expect you. Did you go? Oh yeah, you go on with streaming or not? Yes. I would love to. I would have loved to have you on my chat to discuss the Tychus. I think it's as Tychus is not has a not very well established meta nowadays. I think it's nice if we have several opinions on how you build it. So, are you in this game, Nobility? Yes, you're okay. You're player. So it's the first game we'll be discussing is the Tychus versus Kerrigan. You multitask. Okay. Um, how do you? Okay, let's go. How do you usually play? What can I? How do you usually play the matchup, Nobility?
So I guess opener. Sometimes I do some opener if the Kerrigan is dancing a lot. Um,
Sam
like
before Tychus?
sometimes
Okay.
if I know the opponent, like in fact in this game, maybe I should have done that, but um, just to snipe the Kerrigan because particularly in this game, this guy likes to go Kerrigan and then Zagara. So for that, I maybe should have done that. But anyway, it's usually Tychus into Sam, and then either Blaze or Nux most of the time for me.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Yes.
after I have Blaze and Nux, this is assuming he's going into Hydras. After Blaze and Nux, then I get Nikara and then add more Sams or more Nux or Kevin if he goes Ultra. That's usually how it goes for me.
Yeah.
And
So you go
yeah,
Tychus Sam or Sam Tychus, then usually Blaze, Nikara, and then whatever is needed. Either more Blaze and more Kevin, more Sams.
um, actually, I get Nux quite early if he goes Hydra.
If he goes Hydra, you get Nux
Sometimes
quite early.
even yeah, even before Blaze sometimes,
Even
just to
before
make
Blaze,
sure I
okay.
get the Hydra. Yeah.
hmm Okay. Yeah, I think it's pretty similar to me. What I do, I usually, I don't think I open Sam, but I do Sam pretty early because Kerrigan is really a pain to deal with, and we need to kill her fast to reach the Hydra and stuff. I would say that a good Kerrigan will go heavy on Hydra early game because it's just a lot of pushing power. I think this guy I know him
Yeah.
is a Korean player too.
Yes.
So
I
usually
think
I
so.
open Blaze and maybe I don't do Nuxes enough. I do Nuxes only if he commits to Hydra. But I usually do
Um,
like at least 2 Blazes. But maybe it's a mistake. I don't know if
from
there is mass
from
Hydra.
what I've seen, yeah, from what I've seen, I think you can also use Cannonball instead of Nux for the damage to kill the Hydra after the grenade. But yeah, but I prefer Nux because usually they end up getting Brood Lords, and then Nux can help for the Brood Lords as well. So that's how I tend to play
Yeah,
it.
that's true. That's true. That's true. Blood Lord is one of the most painful transition that Kirgan can do. If she go Ultra, I think it's good for Tychus. So and Nux is help much more versus that. What do you do versus Mass Brood Lord? How do you play it?
If they start straight away with Brood Lord, like no Hydra straight into Brood Lord from whatever I've tried, uh, I think going straight into Sirius is better than Nux and Sams.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously, Sirius is overall worse than Nux and Sams versus Leaks or Push generally. So
Yes.
that is a point. But yeah, but against straight Brood Lords, definitely Sirius is a better. I think
Yeah.
until
Serious
maybe
is I think
Gideon.
is really the best counter to Brood Lord, but as you said, it's more leak. It can be leaks fragile. And on the other hand, if you push, it's very good. Serious tend to stack and often good to push into the next wave.
Yes. I think against Broodlord is similar to like Avatar hosts, where you kind of just sustain with Nikara until next wave comes, and then you try to push from there.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, if you Waffe, if you can't reach if you still can't reach Carrie if unless she fucks up. What do you mean by that? I'm not sure I understand actually.
Maybe he means
No.
my Sam opener just to snipe the Kerrigan.
Yeah.
I think uh maybe I haven't exactly tested it, but usually I think the Kerrigan ends up around the bunker when your Sam reaches there. I think so.
Yes. Yeah, that's Sam is really
I'm not,
useful
I'm
also
not sure exactly.
to prevent any Kerrigan stack, I guess. Um, Back in the day, people were advising to go Noxus versus Broodlord. What do you think about this?
Um, with two max knocks and a Tychus nade, you can kill one clump. So
Yes.
I think in this game, I do end up going two Noxes. Yeah.
Okay, there's so Pew Pew is saying that Cannonball is really important to fight the Hydra. The stun and link clumping is too important to clear links, and then I armor shred. And Waffe is agreeing with that.
Mm, I can see the point in that, but I prefer to just have a blaze because lings kind of do nothing versus blaze. And then I use the Nux and the Tychus to clear big group of hydras. Usually that's what I do. And I think you can kind of sustain with Nikara quite a bit, doing it that way. But I can understand Cannonball as well.
Hmm.
I personally don't really do that build.
So if I
But
understood
maybe I'm
correctly,
not.
Pew Pew and Waffe, you do Cannonballs versus basically versus Hydra. And if there is no Hydra, you don't do. You do Cannonball versus Hydra. It's true that sometimes I do it late game, but maybe I don't do it early enough. Maybe it's more necessary because I feel Blaze are kind of underwhelmed. So I need to find another solution for that. So either it's the Nuxes more early, either it's the Cannonball, I guess. Okay, interesting.
So
Cannonball
I
deal AoE
assume
damage. Cannonball deal AoE damage? No. Cannonball don't deal AoE damage.
in the ability, I think jump.
In the what?
In the jump, he does 20 or something damage.
He does damage with the jump? I didn't know. I thought it was
Yeah,
just a
20
stun.
damage or something.
Negate Frenzy. Nikara Precast plus Cannonball plus Net Tychus and Hydra. Yeah. Yeah, Nikara Precast. And do you sometimes do grenade damage? I'm asking all of you.
I always get credit against damage against Hydra.
You always get what?
I always get damage versus Hydra.
You always get damage, yes. Two Cannonballs kill all Hydra. So you don't even do Blaze Ultimate Fight or Waffe? That's really funny. No, okay, interesting. And Waffe, do you do a Blaze versus Hydra? Maybe I've been doing that wrong. No. Oh wow. Okay. I need to test that. I need to test that. And do you use Nexus versus Hydra? If there is really a lot. Maybe later. Personally, as a care player, I never had trouble versus Blaze. It kills nothing and dies super fast. Okay, interesting. Yeah, maybe I've been doing that wrong then. I was always using Blaze as Nobility.
I maybe also, but I don't like Cannonball because if you jump forward and they have like two rows of hydras, the hydras at the back just stay all the way at the back and still shoot at the cannonball. So I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe I'm microing it wrong. I don't know.
And what about dealing with Broodlords, Vofe, Pew Pew, Ultimate, or anyone in the chats? What's your favorite way of dealing with it? Yeah. Yeah, you can out-heal the... I mean, having a Nikara that is upgraded can out-heal a lot of stuff. Sirius is the best. Never been in trouble with them. Yeah, Sirius is probably the most efficient, and as you explained, Nobility, it's only when you have leaks that they tend to, like, be bad. Sirius, whatever the name. Okay. Do we discuss something else about this matchup? So Ultra are not really a threat usually. You can just do Kev. Even Sams are good versus Ultra. If I have air leaks and I need to fight Ultra, I do Sams and I keep my grenade for the Ultras. Even without it's not that bad. And if I don't have leaks, if I don't have air leaks, I do just Kev and usually the Ultra are dealt with. I don't know. For the lurkers, the cannonball works well. I think. What do you think?
I think against lurkers, most things work well.
What did you say?
Against lurkers, I think most things work well
Yeah.
because it's so expensive and efficient versus Tychus.
Yeah, and it has no DPS. So I think this is gone for Kerrigan. For Kerrigan. Erlich, my Vega tips can be good. Erlich, my Vega tip can be good. I told you next time. You mean last time? Like the attack speed? Controlling a Hydra? Yes. Okay. Okay. This is game still long. I will just fast forward it up and we'll see how we reverse it. So you want to talk a bit about the game we are watching?
Um, so, wait. So I'm with a friend. So the first position is me on bottom side. My
Yes.
friend, uh, second and third one is random. The
Your
opponent team,
friend
I
is not
think,
very is not very familiar with the Nova versus Nova matchup, I think. As the Cine said earlier.
yeah,
I mean, that's not how you
yeah.
play Nova matchup.
Well, both sides were doing a bit weird stuff, but
But
yeah.
especially in this game, because here we have a Kerrigan, which is bad versus Nova Air, and we also have a Dehaka, which is bad versus Nova Air. So Nova had to go Air in this game. It was like even more important.
Yes, I think so too.
Yeah, both Nova didn't know the mirror. Yeah, sorry, I interrupted you. So about this game. Okay, and this Kerrigan did Ultralisk, and I guess it's for the. I don't know. Okay, they won. Okay, GG. So next matchup is I should invite you in my team. I lost the file you sent me. So this matchup is Nova. Okay, Tychus versus Nova. Interesting.
I think this is an unplayable matchup versus good player.
Yeah, of course. Okay, I couldn't okay, maybe I should have logged before, I don't know. Okay, I guess you can watch on my stream, there is no delay. Okay, how do you play versus Nova usually? You here?
Yes. Right. What did you say?
How do you play versus Nova?
So it's very much um, no reactive. So versus Marauders and Ghosts is basically just Cannonball. I think I always open Cannonball after Tychus.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah, as Wafa is saying, Sans versus Hollow and Sirius versus Libs, basically.
Ah, Sirius versus Libs. Okay, funny. I do Nova. But yes, I think the most important thing is the first thing you said is like it's a reactive matchup. So I would advise against doing anything blindly. Because if you open Cannonball and you go straight to Libs or even Hollow, it's not that good. So what is important is to be reactive. And yeah, Cannonball versus Marauders and Ghosts.
Yes.
Sam versus Hollow. And okay, Sirius versus Lips. I'll try this one.
Yeah.
I'll write it down.
The good thing about Sirius is if they go Ghost, he can't be targeted.
What?
And also versus Lib, his turret can't be targeted. So it's good.
Okay. Sorry. Sears pairs better with Sam's. So it's basically you do Sears and Sam versus Lips, or if there is no Hollow, you don't do Sam's. Why does it pairs better?
Oh, no, I don't.
Sears is probably a hint that I don't use enough. Anyone else has something to say about the matchup? Because Sicrius good as Lips and Ghost can target. So you're talking about that here. So that's how you do it. I don't look. Yes, that's how you actually do it in the game. You do Searses. Sam only very bad versus Ghosts. And also versus Marauders. Sams are awful versus Marauders. So that's a lot of units, to be honest. And Marauders are pretty common in the matchup, so... I don't have a lot of things to say about this matchup. I think we all
the-
covered it already. Cannonball versus Marauder Ghost, Sirius versus Air, apparently, and yeah, Nikara is a bit weaker maybe in this matchup, so I'll do it, but a bit later.
Yes.
I don't know what else to say about this matchup, to be honest. Sometimes, sometimes you use the. It's especially useful with Vega, but it's also useful versus Cyrus's, I guess. You can use the grenade pool to pull the Liberators closer to you, because if the Tychus, the Nova is good, he will like use rapid fire to siege earlier.
Yes.
And then the libs will be out of reach.
Yeah. So you rely. Yes. That's
And Ultimate Fight is telling me if there is no micro, use Boswell to make lip siege Basley for not to attack your air. Yeah. So basically, you hook the cannonball like on the side, I don't know, forward and on the side, so that the libs like siege on the back position and don't hit your like main army, which is Tychus, Sam Sirius's. Sorry. By the way, for Tychus versus No Kerrigan, I often say Tychus player goes Sam without stun. And I want to say it's important to get the stun, otherwise Kerrigan can dodge the demolition charge and damage with yeah. And yeah, that's one thing we didn't talk about. I do the stun, but I also often do the damage upgrades. What do you think about that versus Kerrigan? Is it worth it? Because it's pretty expensive, so it's I guess it's debatable.
mainly on the stun.
Anyone else has an opinion on that? Sorry, I wasn't looking to the fight. Anyone else something else to say about the matchup or about the Sam grenade versus Kerrigan? I think it's worth it. Kerry can make it so much damage. I didn't focus. Yes, I also think it's worth it, the damage versus Kerrigan. The only thing is sometimes I regret it if they push me and I cannot reach her anymore with my Sam. Or if I or in some scenario, but I always feel it's worth it. Here you're pushing against a Mengsk. So I would say it's an argument for doing a Vega here. It will be useful for the libs and for the next wave.
I think I ever get a Vega.
And okay. Anything to add about the game or the matchup?
We talked about all of it.
For Nova, do you use a charge on Nova or only libs? Holo. I never knew if Nova was that big of a threat.
Only hollows, I think.
Also, some kill drones, I don't remember. Good question. Honestly, I don't even micro Sam, I think, in the matchup. I let Sam need whatever he wants. I have other stuff to micro, but I was... yeah, I used Vega, I had cannonballs and Vega to micro, and Tychus, Nade, Nikara, so that's already a lot, but it's a good question. Destiny, you're focusing too much on the wrong matchup. I get your point, but it's not the question today. Destiny is always focusing on the other matchups. It's funny. Okay, we go to the next one. Maybe I can invite you in the Beware. Are you in Europe, Mobility? Maybe I can try to take with you in the. I'm not sure if it makes sense because we're like not focusing that much on the replay, but I can invite you in the replay maybe. Next one is versus Carax. Okay, versus Carax. Let's go. Maybe I need to be more. Do we need to get to the matchup more fast? Because I don't want this stream to be like 2 hours long. I'm not sure. I'm asking you guys. What do you think? Are we going too slow?
And we'll chat people.
Osaka is asking if it was an in-house game because there were some players I knew in demo game.
Which this one, the versus.
I guess it was the last one.
The last one versus Nova.
Okay, versus Carax. How do you play it? Is this versus you? I don't know.
So yeah, it's versus Waffe.
Yeah, it's versus Waffe.
It's so mainly handballs versus annihilators, and then maybe one or two blaze if they get really a lot of sentinel.
Do you know your allies here? Because I don't know those games. I mean, Alucard, I think I've seen him already.
Only Alucard. The third one is random.
Okay, third one is random. Okay. So Cannonball, you said?
Yes, but so in this game I think I ended up going mass cannonballs, but maybe I've seen mass Vega also do pretty good, and
Mass Vega can work, yeah.
Yeah, honestly, that's less micro intensive in my opinion.
Yeah.
As Vega can just take whatever and life's a bit easier. But
yeah, but it's also very dangerous depending on your leaks. Here you have a Carax 6, so you can potential Carax. No. Your leaks is potentially Zagara here. So it's very dangerous to do it here. So here if you do Mass Vega and Zagara pushes you, you're dead.
Yes.
So yeah, Vega build is very strong, but you need to be able to do Vega versus all three commanders, and that's pretty rare, I would say. Or do a mix. So I think one the biggest mistake you can do in the beginning is that sometimes Carax will bait you for a blaze. He will do like the sentinel, because you need sentinel in the game. And you can start by doing like 10 sentinels, like if you were like doing mass sentinels, but you will need the 10 sentinels at some point in the game. Yeah. But if you see like 10 sentinels and you do a blaze, I'm not sure at what point you need a blaze, but if you can bait a blaze as Carax, you're pretty golden because your annihilators will be very, very good. So my rule is to not do blaze until there's really a shit ton of sentinels. Yeah, maybe 10 but even maybe more, maybe 15.
Yes, I would agree. I would agree with that.
But here you did one. But also maybe for the leaks, I don't know.
I mean, he does have quite a few sentinel, I think, at this point.
Yeah, he does have a good sentinel. Yeah, he does a significant amounts of sentinel.
And one good thing is plays with the oil spill. It can, what do you call, like they die when they revive. Things work out, so it reduces the sentinel you have to kill.
Yes. So here you hook into the cannonballs, you hook into the annihilators. I think one thing is important that you're doing here is that you hook with 1 second of delay between each hook so that it perma-stun the annihilators.
Regarding the hooking, I think there are two ways of doing it. One is either you go for the stunning, or the other one is like you don't try to time them, but you kind of stun as the annihilator is shooting to disrupt the ability. So yeah, both are, I think, viable.
So sorry, I wasn't. I was distracted for a bit. What you said? The second way is to what? To
So you try to hook as the Annihilator is using ability.
okay.
So it will disrupt their ability, so it won't do the full 200 damage or whatever it
Okay.
is.
I never tried
So that's
that.
the thing you can do. I tried it in the beginning, but then it's kind of like you have to guess when the opponent will
Yeah, you have
use
to
the
anticipate a bit.
yeah.
I'll try
So
that. So you can interrupt the ability with the stun, basically.
yes, yes,
Okay.
it will reduce the output damage.
It will reduce your output damage, yeah, of
But
course.
yes, in this game, I think Wafe used it very slowly, so I was jumping too early in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
So later on, I just decided to just hook later after all the sentinels come to the front, and then I hooked cannonballs into the back. That's what I was doing, I think, towards the end. So
Okay.
as you can see here, well, not on this wave, but I think that's basically what I was aiming to do.
Ultimate Fight, what was your point? You said like if you do a lot of sentinels, you go straight to Colossi and don't do any leaders. Oh, that's a lot of sentinels. Yeah, apparently it's what I understood, Cannonball. You can apparently interrupt the ability with the hook. I didn't know that neither. What was your point, Ultimate Fighter? I'm not sure I understood it. Is it long? Or mid? What else do we know? Versus Colossi, I guess you do more cannonballs. I think it's one of the matchup
Yeah,
in which Chetrikev is pretty weak because it can get sniped by annihilators. So you don't want to do too expensive unit. You don't want to do a tier 3 full gear Nikara. And you don't want to do tier 3 Kev, I think. At least not early or mid game. And even late game it can be dangerous because you can just snipe very expensive units. And
I think it's a bit safer if you can do Mass Vega because then he can't easily just micro all the Annihilator. But yes, generally
yes.
speaking,
Yeah, it's safer to do Mass Vika, but it's also like not safer. And versus Mass Cannonball, I think
Mhm.
the only option is carriers. If there's too many cannonballs as Carax, I think.
Yes.
Because at some point, annihilators are just
Uh,
unbeatable.
when he got that carrier, I was actually a bit scared of. I've nearly lost a game where the carrier sold all ground and just got all carrier.
Mm-hmm. He's all.
So that,
Was that
that is
versus
a
Sene or
yeah,
what?
that's a Hail Mary play, but it's pretty strong. I nearly died to it. So I
Yeah.
started to spam Vega towards the end.
But Vega is a good answer to a lot of things. But carrier switch can be disrupting. Colossi also very good. And here I think I agree with you, Ultimate. I don't see that little amount of annihilators often, I think. And I don't see that many sentinels often, I think. And the armor upgrade, I don't get it. Doesn't change much, no? I, I didn't think he can wait for backline zealots to walk into Blaze. He hooks early with his Blaze Zealots. Is that DS Fury? I don't know what you're talking about. Okay, Zagara cleaning the round here. But the Vikings are stacking. Late game for Karax is really, really difficult.
Yes, that game becomes I think
And you
basically
don't
impossible.
do revive on your cannonballs.
I prefer to get numbers up and then revive.
Okay. You prefer to like first do like 4 cannonballs and then the revives.
Yeah,
Okay.
usually. Yeah, I start getting revives here, as you can see.
Okay. Yeah.
I think when they get Colossus, you do need revive because usually you want to jump into the Colossus, kill them.
Yes.
So for that you need revive.
Anyone has something to say about this matchup before we go to the next one? Or you, or anyone? Okay. I'll show the end of the game. So you managed, you did pretty well here, I guess. The matchup was pretty easy, and it was. You had a good matchup, and you were pushing into a Mengsk, and the Mengsk needed to go had a bad matchup, and he needed to fight air because of this. So
Oops.
well played, very well played, because you beat a very good team. But that was very hard for them also. The combination. Can
I
Karax even
personally
beat
think
Tychus?
I think early to mid game, Karax maybe even has advantage, especially if they're not spamming Vega.
Yes, I agree. I think Karax need to win like early or mid game. The more the game goes late, the more it's hard for Karax. But you know, late game it also depends a lot on the other waves, right?
Yes.
So here, for example, it was very hard because they had the Mengsk. But if you have something else that can stack with you, Tychus has a chance late game. Next matchup versus Rainer. This is very interesting because for me as Rainer, I don't have a lot of Reno can put some very disturbing early pressure into Tychus with just a lot of Marauders.
Yes.
Some people go
Yes,
Banshees, and one is annoying, but they don't have the damage output they need. I think doing one is
Banshee
cool,
is good.
but
Yeah, it's good for baiting tier 2 or scans,
yes.
but the ground is definitely very difficult to hold early, mid.
Yeah, sorry, his microphone, the microphone of Noobility is not very good. I put him louder, maybe it's better. But yeah, I also have this underwater feeling. So yeah. So what I struggle the most is like early mass marauders, to be honest, with a couple flame bats in front, which is a couple, which one Banshee and a couple medic. It's like what I do as Rainer, and usually I don't have problem with just like it's early to maybe mid game, depending, and then it becomes very hard for Rainer because he cannot scale, and he also cannot fight air with these builds. So usually Rainer late game is really cornered because he need to fight air for the other waves, and he doesn't really have an air unit that is good versus Tychus.
I think
It's
yeah.
versus Kasha.
So early the bio is very strong. Even
Yes.
later, I think BC is becomes harder.
So BC, you think BC is good with the Yamato?
Yeah, because even Yamato, and also they're so tanky. So,
Okay.
so like he has to the Tychus either has to go Sirius's or Sam's or Vega to kill them. And for example, for Vega, even if they pull it down, the BC is so tanky that like it allows other stuff to survive for longer, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I think in this game, so I'm versus I think it's Chashka. So
You think it's
he
Cheshka?
goes for
I mean, there is Kasha. As well, I know it's a Smurf, but I don't know who is it. It has a low APM for Cheshka, but maybe it is. And Kaksnikov, I don't know. Who you guys know who is it?
sorry,
But
sorry.
can it be you?
It was
No. Can it be you, Vofe? No. You don't play Renner. It's not me. It's Scipion? Kidding.
It is sorry. It is Chashka.
It is Shashka? Okay.
Yes.
So Azrael is Shashka? Or Karaksnikov?
No, Persnikov Azrael. I don't know who it is.
Okay. Okay. So so here I'm really interested to see how you do it. So you don't use any cannonballs. Me, I've to admit I'm not 100% sure how to play this as a. I use a Nicara grenade pre-heal plus a. Yes, I do like you. I think the Nicara pre-heal plus the damage upgrades for the grenade is very good. And then yes,
Yes.
sometimes I use I don't know. I'm confused. Sometimes I use cannonball, sometimes Kev, sometimes Sirius, sometimes Vegas, and I don't know.
And I've also seen various different methods of playing. Some people like to go nuts. Some people, yeah,
Ah
cannonball.
yeah, Nux also. Ah
Some people
Nux.
use Vega with confusion.
Yeah, Nux is I think is very important. At least maybe not as an opening, but a bit later if there is too much bio. Okay, so tell me what's your take? What's your general build versus Rainers? Let's say he goes mass bio.
He goes mass bio, then you get a few Kevs,
A few
and of
Kevs,
course
yes.
Tychus and Nicara combo.
Mm-hmm.
And then if there's really a lot of bio, then I will probably go cannonball.
Cannonball, okay. So no Nuxes.
Yeah, I tend to not like nuts for whatever
Yeah, me
reason.
too. Recently, Shin told me like the way to play is Mass Nux with no upgrades, and I tried it and it was okay-ish. But I guess you need to have good micro to have like really to put really good storm, and then maybe it becomes like the perfect hard counter. I don't know. But
So
I tend to play
I
like you
think,
actually. But I use a cannonball. I mean, I do one cannonball and one cav usually.
oh, okay.
But I play similarly like you than you. I would say the
I
pre-heal
think
is
I
very
don't like
important.
nuts.
You don't use a pre-heal
I
for
don't
the
like.
Nikara. I think it's really important
Uh,
to like it gives a boost to the
I do
damage.
I do use it, but like after losing some HP.
Yeah, but if you do it before the grenade, it gives 25% damage to the boost to the damage
Yeah,
to the
so
grenade.
I do. I think I am using it before grenade, but after I lose a bit HP, not right away.
Okay. Ah, here you did it. I think. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Depends. Oh, in chat, what do you think about this matchup? What do you do? Go for it. How old was this game?
Sorry.
You remember how old it was this game?
Um, Maybe 1 or 2 months ago.
Okay. Yes, 92. Grenade with Nikera burst give 25% to all the damage that you do. All the damage. So that includes grenade, but also other units for I don't know, maybe a couple seconds. I think. I think it's not written, but it's the same amount of seconds that it's written here. 7 seconds, I guess. You see. Also increase their damage by 25%, and this applies to the grenade. And sometimes it's very useful that you pre-heal, you heal, and then you use the grenade. It can give you a good damage burst. But of course, the downside of it is that you don't heal when there is low HP. When your unit are low HP, so you kind of lose the advantage of the grenade. But if you don't have this upgrade, the Imogen repair, the heal of Nikara is of the burst is not that big, so you don't lose that much. I would argue. So it depends. Sometimes you need to use it for the burst damage, and sometimes you need to use it for the HP, I would say. But it's very useful versus you can one shot. Sometimes you can one shot a lot of units with that. I think what is the most notable point?
Wonder aliens probably.
Uh, Dude, I don't remember.
Honor Hellions?
I think Rainer's Bio, you can one-shot it with the grenade upgrade and the damage upgrade.
No. Rainer, except for Marine, they don't die. Oh, and magics.
Okay. But maybe the Marine get
I think,
one-shotted? I don't know.
yeah, the Marine definitely. But I think Horner Hellions are the best scenario for free heal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Honor. You can one-shot the Hellions. Okay, so let's recap. So, you do more or less like me. I would say, Kevin, I do cannonballs. You added Sirius's, I guess, also for the air. But you also use it for the ground, right? Sirius's?
It's not that much. It's mainly for air.
Mainly for air, okay.
And the
Okay.
SAMs I always get when I start feeling safe because Hyperion is always a threat. And
Mm-hmm.
also I was pushing into Tychus.
Yeah. Yeah. And So for me, I used to do like something kind of similar with just a cannonball Kev. I use Nicar Pre-Heal and Tychus Grenade as you. And maybe Noxus versus Mass. Then it depends what he does. But um, Nux's late game is good. Seriously, sometimes you can stack it. If you pushes, I feel it's good. It's weak versus the Marauders, but if you push, it will stay alive and stay in the back. That's pretty good. And yeah, recently Shin
Yes.
told me about this Mass Nux's build, and I think it should be viable. And another build that is useful that I don't do is Vega plus the Confuse. And sometimes you can you control just a small marauders in the middle, and it confuses the unit around. And I know it can be pretty strong.
Yes.
Some people
I
use
think I
that, but
prefer
yeah, some people use that, but I'm not sure exactly how strong it is. I haven't experimented very deeply.
it is pretty strong. It's just I'm kind of a very slow player, so I prefer to have less up to micro.
Mhm.
Uh, Vega, you have to pick quite precisely after your nade or whatever in the stack in the middle. So I'm
Yeah,
not very good at that. So I tend to not do that.
yeah. For that, Noxus build is pretty difficult because the Vega maybe you can do it automatically. You just control whatever because it's not important what you control. But I have to say that Noxus, when I tried it, it was pretty hard because you need to know Nikara, Tychus, Grenade, and all the Noxus storms, and that was pretty hard. So about 92 question, I really don't play 1v1 at all, so I'm not sure if I can answer, but maybe someone else can answer your question. How do you beat my Stanks in 1v1? Before we hop in the next matchup. Vofa Ultimate, are you
I don't
still
play
here? And
them.
what do you think about this matchup? Okay, can you add something? Cannonballs versus tanks. Yes. That's also just like in Trivitry, I guess. Vafe Ultimate, how do you play versus Nova? Or any other good players? Good Tychus? How do you play versus Nova? I want to have some other opinion before I close the subject, the matchup. Net plus cap plus. Yeah, that is also a trick cap that can be useful. What do they say? Tetrikev. So Tetrikev, yes. It's one of the matchup in which early Tetrikev can be a bit weak because you need you need at least one cannonball to tank for him. Otherwise, he won't do damage. He will die very fast to the Marauders. But Ultimate Fight might disagree with that. I was so sure. Yeah, no pre. So you use the Nikara heal to heal him. Yeah, maybe we can shield. With if you're Tetri, you can also have the Nikara shield. Maybe you can shield Tetrikev. So next is Artanis. Are you in game? Eman on the US or what?
Yes. Wait.
I come Europe. Anyone has an opinion? I would really love to have other opinions on that matchup versus Renner because for me it's like confusing. I've seen so many different playstyle as explained with cannonballs and Kevs or with Vega, with Nexus. I would like to have other opinion. But in general versus Renner, you must build for damage. Next wave, you got many ways to win it. Yeah, you got many ways to win it. That's why I think. So no other opinion on versus Rainer. What a shame. Let's go versus Artanis.
This one, I think you can skip like the first 20 minutes.
We'll talk about the matchup. It's just for like having like an example under the eyes, but it's more about talking. Really depend on what Rainer goes. The matchup can play out number of way. You like Rattlesnake. I'm not sure. Are you still in the team? I'm with you. Are you in the game or not?
I am, but like.
Are you in the replay with me?
It doesn't seem to hit me in the replay.
Yeah, maybe it's because I use a external file. I would have to launch it from the inside of the game, I guess, to like load the file. I don't know. I'll try maybe. I'll try again. So you're versus.
Versus Artanis.
Okay, and you have a double Tychus? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go. How do you play versus Artanis?
So usually cannonball and if many zealots or reavers then blaze. But any
Blaze
cannonballs
versus Reavers?
later. Initially cannonball and then later if there are many reavers then I get blaze or tier 3. And then for air, I've seen people go. So mainly the threat obviously is Tempest, and I've seen people do Sirius, Sam, or Vega. And personally, I like Vega the most.
Yeah, here again, there's several ways to play it. I think Krag is like you; he really likes the Vega play. Usually, I do a mix of Vega and Sam, but it might be a wrong way to do it. I think Kasha told me recently that Cersei was really the best way to do it, and maybe he's right. So I try to change my style.
I don't know, for Sirius, I've seen some Artanis get like just a few Phoenix or Observer at the front.
Phoenix or
And then-
Observer?
Yeah, just to bait the Sirius shot.
But what? Wait, I mean, I don't
I've
think
seen
any
that
good
happen, and
Artanis will
then
open Phoenix versus Tychus, right?
I mean they don't open. They go Tempest, and then later on they add just a few, and then that makes the serious the Tigers player have to micro the main serious barrage,
Mm-hmm.
and then like that's a lot of damage that is lost from that if you're going serious. So
Ah,
I
okay, okay, I
usually don't do
understand, I
it.
understand. Like one Phoenix to like, yeah, tank for the search, to like bait the search missile. Okay, I can understand it now. This Artanis has a very, very weird way of playing, so I'm not sure this replay will.
His early game is not good, so that's why I was saying, for like this game is mainly for just to see the composition. So that's why I was saying maybe you can skip to about 20 minutes where it's late game to see the general composition.
Mhm. Yeah, let's talk about the matchup in general. So, so versus air, do you prefer the Vega, and what's the alternative for you?
Uh, yeah, so Vega. Otherwise, I think Sam's, and
Mm-hmm.
we just now said Sirius is also an option, but I prefer Vega and then Sam's,
Mm-hmm.
depending on like overall matchup situation. Sam's with the what is it called? The suit, the cloak thing. I think that removes the disintegration when he goes into cloak. So
Ah,
that along with Nikara, I think is quite strong.
okay. Yeah. The I don't know. I never done that, but it's possible that the cloak remove the disintegration. And yeah, Nikara I think is very important in the matchup because as the disintegration acts very slowly, if you have Nikara upgraded, it can out heal most of the DPS. Artanis lacks some DPS in the matchup, so Nikara is pretty important, I think. And upgraded
Yes.
Nikara can be very good.
I personally usually only get the burst heal most of the time.
Hmm. And so it's one of the only matchup in which I like to have two Nikaras, even for that reason sometimes.
Oh yeah, that is also definitely an option.
That's really like, oh. But it also depends if I'm being pushed or not. Yeah, let me read the chat. I think I missed some message. Alors, Sirius is good for tank. Oh, Artanis versus Ultimate Fight. You wrote long ago. Versus Air Tychus, Nikara, Sam win a long time with Nikara upgrade. So yeah, we agree. And hello, Sam, hero for next wave. I love these starts. Yeah. So yeah, versus the Air, I think there's those three options: Sam, Vega, and Sirius. And depending on the situation, they might all be at least viable. Maybe Sirius is the most like quick, fast to kill the Air. But Sam is more versatile, and Vega is the one I like the most. But sometimes I like to have like one Vega. If I have like Cannonball, I think having one Vega with the Psy, like make it like that two Cannonball can also help to fight the air, which is kind of useful. Like one Vega. I often do like at least one, just to have that
Yeah,
nice thing.
yes. I think usually the idea is you want to clear the ground as fast as possible to get under the tempest.
Yes, but that's why series are good because they will fight the air whatever happens, even if there is a ground.
Yes, but for serious, like if the ground is still there, then the only the turrets will be doing damage initially.
Okay, let me read the chat again. Uh, Chat, tell me also what you think about Sam Cloak. Does it like remove the disintegration and is it good in the matchup? And also, okay, Sears good to tank with direct, just like kill the ground and then Vega come and just to Tempest and confuse them. Ah, confuse the Tempest. I never thought about that. Put them on the ground and Cav tier 3 pew pew pew. Yeah, that's also one way of doing it, like Vega plus Cav. You can kill Tempest pretty fast. But just at very late game, I feel that, I don't know. Late game, I don't know why it's not working that well. Why would the fuck me...
I do exactly what Arg is saying in this game.
Why would Tychus make a series against a unit he doesn't have to attack though? Yeah, I think 92 he was talking like he goes Tempest but just a Phoenix in front. You need to clear ground fast for Ceres to be good. Okay. And Sam clear both ground and air, yeah. Yeah, Ceres and Sam are probably the most safe build, I would say. If versus mass air. This is a brutal matchup for Artanis. I mean, Artanis can do well if he micro the disintegration fast or if he stack. If he can stack with his ally and have a ground... need to stack Tempest behind Bunker. Yeah, exactly. I think Sam with Cloak gets the job done versus Tempest and fast cooldown insta-kill thingy. It just take a while to get it going. It does now. It didn't before, I think. I just like massing Vegas. Yeah, massing Vegas can work versus Mass Tempest. But depending on the leaks you have, it can be very bad. Sam Clock cancel disintegration. Cloak cancel. It was like 1 year ago. If your team is winning, going pure Vega is probably the strongest option. Since Tempest Zealot cannot beat that with any leaks. Yes. I agree. What else do we say about the matchup? Versus River, I think Cannonballs is enough, but so you use Blaze, okay?
Yeah, if there's many Reavers.
If there's many
But
Rivers.
also Mass Vega
With the
also
tier 3?
kind of...
With the tier 3 upgrade or just like that, Blaze?
Yes, you need tier 3 versus Reaver.
You need what?
Otherwise it's useless. You need the tier 3 for Blaze.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Tier 3 Blaze is an upgrade I usually try to avoid having because it can be very bad versus the leaks depending. And often, as I use cannonballs, the unit will and I hook them in front pushing. Often the rivers won't even fight the blaze.
Oh, right. You mean with the cannonballs?
If you're using cannonballs to hook into the rivers will fight the cannonballs and not the blaze. And your very expensive blaze might be a mistake. That's why I like to avoid doing this upgrade usually.
But after with the Reavers, the cannonball die and they lose the first life very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So after that, the Reavers can target all your backline if you don't have base, in my opinion. So that's why I tend to get every place.
Okay. Let me read chat. Better go tier 3 cave with a few Vega instead. Yeah, than Mass Vega? Yeah, maybe. So Vafe, you also use rivers versus tier 3 blaze versus rivers, I guess. So I understand. With Vega, what if the alternate disable autocast on disintegration? Does that change anything? I mean, no decent alternate will autocast disintegration. That makes no sense. The AI will waste several disintegration on a unit, and it's really bad. If the alternatives don't micro the disintegration, you won the game. There is no way he can win you. That's one unit that you have to micro. Van Vegas still killed 2 Tempest. I prefer Cannonball over tier 3 Blaze. Oh, okay, you also prefer Cannonball. Okay. Okay. What do you guys think about having two Nikara in the matchups in the chats, or like not early game but later? So we didn't really figure that out. What was the best way to fight Tempest? I think we heard about Vegas, we heard about Circe's, Sam, Vega plus Kev. I guess it depends. It depends on what are the other waves. So you go Tetra Kev to away down Zealots and Regen. It's a must-have in late. Yes, I think Tunicera is a must-have in late. But the Mass Vega, I personally don't like it because I think it's... Yeah, except if you have a Mansk in the game or other wave for it, it can be good because it can be so weak versus the other waves. And when there's really a lot of Tempest, I think the Vega Kev combo is not that good. Because you need a lot of... I don't know. It didn't work well in house I did. And you have Tunicera, Tutriatanis is just done. Yes, so we all agree Tunicera is good late game. An upgraded Nikara, like amazing. He cannot kill you, he doesn't have the DPS. Yeah, I agree with you, Craig. I think the choice depends more on other commanders. Even three Nikaras. Anything else to add? Noobility?
No, not really. I think we covered everything.
Okay. So maybe we won't watch the end of the game. I guess you win. I think you only send me replays where you win, so I'm guessing you won the game?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, goons can be doable. Usually zealots are better, but if I see Sirius's, I replace my. I usually use as Satanist. I usually do small units to use my guardian shell, and usually it's honor guards. But if I see a lot of Sirius's, I go goons, and it's also good. Or versus blaze, of course, yes. But yeah, it's more vulnerable to cannonballs, I think. Exactly, crack. Okay, we hop into the next matchup, I guess. Let's go.
I have to hop out for a few minutes.
Yeah, sure, no problem.
I'll be back.
Unit rivers event clearer, you can just one unit exclusively accept carry. I don't know. I like my Mass Tempest if I can go for Mass Tempest personally. I go rivers if depending on the other waves only. I feel they are underwhelming, and late game Tychus beats anything on the ground, I think. But they can be good. I mean, I've played recently a couple games where I was like pushing into Zagara or Stukov, and I started adding Mass Rivers versus Tychus, and it was working. But versus a good Tychus, he can like really punish you for that, so I would advise against doing it. So, and the last I think it's the last matchup. He sent me, and then we'll discuss very quickly all the other matchups that we haven't covered yet. Ah, it was versus me. Ah, I remember this one. It was versus it's the here I was learning Honor, and he was Tychus, I was Honor, and we also lost it. And I was basically doing what following Cheshka instruction. So versus Honor, it should be an easy matchup. You should always, of course, be worried about any air transition that Honor can do. The mass BCs is worrying, and I think that's one of the reasons that you shouldn't use Vega in the matchup even versus air, because they do nothing versus versus the BC. So it's one of the matchup in which usually Ceresis shines. I think Ceresis is probably the most useful unit in the matchup. Sam's also very good. I usually like to open Nikera to have some detection, but Ceresis also can provide for that. And the Nikera, it's one of the matchup in which the Nikera pre-heal plus the Nate with the damage upgrade can one-shot the Hellions, which is very, very useful. So yeah, usually having Nikera Tychus combo with a grenade upgrade is very strong versus the ground. Even if you go full ground, you need to resist the temptation to do other units. If there is really too much, you can do one cannonballs or a blaze maybe, depending. But I think cannonball is just more versatile. And then I would advise that Sams and Ceresis are the way to go. You need at least a couple Sams to be ready for a SBC switch, but Ceresis are good versus any type of air, and you should like commit to that, I think. Tychus versus Honor is all about Ceresis. A few Sam versus Sovereign. That's pretty much it. Yeah. You can get that cannonball. Yeah, that's just basically what I said. Suicide Turret, I'm not sure it's worth it, to be honest. It's a very expensive upgrade. What do you guys think about this matchup? Do you have something to add? I think it's pretty much this. This is a build. This is a build, and I don't think you have a lot of variation possible because there's not a lot of different things that I mean, Honor can always switch, so you need to be ready versus all Honor builds. So basically, your build should be very, very similar to this. Like, yeah, Ceresis, couple Sam, Nikera, Tychus. What do you guys think? Ah, he did the explosion. It's Jashka is also confused, like why didn't? Aren't you going Strike Fighters early game? I was following Jashka's instruction. I was just doing whatever he told me. He was like telling me everything I needed to do. So yeah, but Strike Fighters I think are good versus Sams because it's low HP. So you're back. Yeah, Explosion I don't think is good in the matchup. But versus nuns, versus Sams, it can be good, I guess. But I don't know. I was following his instruction. He didn't tell me to. I have Strike Fighters actually. Yeah, so Chashka is saying like, yeah, you don't need explosion because you can like kill the Hellion with the Tychus grenade. Raven helps a lot versus the Tychus because of this thing. I don't know. It also tank for the Ceresis. I mean, sometimes as I'm Honor, I'm like using my Sperminal on anything I can. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, you're probably right. I'll Trump. I don't know. I'm not really not a good Honor player. I was just trying to follow Cheshka instruction here. 3 bonus damage is not a lot. That's true. Yeah, that's true. Okay. If everything is said, I think I will go on to the other matchup. So spoiler alert, he won the game. Or they won the game. He managed to come back. But I want to go over the last matchups because I'm already a bit tired and we have quite a bit matchup to cover. So it will be without replays, I guess. You hear my Noobility? Noobility?
Yes, I'm like.
Okay. So let's go in alphabetical order. Versus Abathur. So versus Abathur, there's still a way he can play it. Usually they open roaches, then they might do Ravagers or not. Now that they're expensive, it's less good. Hosts is usually a problem, and late game Guardians Viper is usually a problem. So yeah, versus the ground, I usually go Tychus, Nikara, Kevin if there is a lot. If there is Swarm Host, I'll try to go fast tier 3 Kevin. Tier 3 Kevin is very strong in this matchup if he has a lot of grounds, and usually they have a lot of grounds because early air don't have the DPS to kill me fast. I can one Sam for the DPS. It's also good when they have +2 attack. They can one shot the Locus of the Swarm Host. And versus air, I add Samson, Vega, and Cersei. And sometimes I do Blaze for the oil late game, but I think Tetri Kev is probably the most efficient versus the ground. The air is a problem because of the Vipers. You cannot reach them, so Cersei helps because of the range. It's kind of harder for him to use the cloud on the ground if you have Cersei. But yeah, late game, the Mask Guardians are very very good in combination with Vipers. Tetrikev is very good, but of course he can do Ravagers to punish you and try to snipe that Tetrikev with the Ravagers. I think 6 is enough to snipe it. It's pretty expensive to have 6 Ravagers, but they don't only kill him. Your turn, what do you do? Noobility.
Basically the same thing. I think early game, if they go a lot of roaches,
Yes.
then I think I get Blaze usually to tank.
Mm-hmm.
A single Blaze, and then basically everything else is basically the same.
Chat, any feedback on Tychus versus Abathur? Tier 3 Kev and pray. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Do you do Vega versus... The question is the air. The ground is easy to deal with, especially late game. With Tier 3 Kev, Nikara, Tychus, maybe Blaze. The question is air. How do you deal with Vipers, Mass Guardians with Vipers? That's the question. Do you do some people do a lot of Vegas. Some people are more services oriented. What do you do, guys?
I think Sirius is the best choice.
Sirius is the best choice.
The tankiest. Yeah, with maybe a few Vegas as well, if you have enough ground.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's the tankiest among the anti-air units. Yeah, and ultimate fight is saying the explosion. That's also pretty good.
Explosion?
Maybe a bit. Yeah, so for the Viper. So
really? How do you use
towards
that?
late game when you have
with the turrets? You throw a turret under the Viper?
No. So the Viper makes the Sirius walk forward. into the
Ah,
middle
yes.
of
Okay,
everything,
okay.
and then he dies and explodes. Yeah.
Ah, okay. I never thought about that. I'll try that. I'll try that. You don't cloud Ceres. Yeah, but then it can be countered by just not clouding him.
Yeah, that is also an option. Yes.
So what about the air? So more who prefers Sam? Who prefers Cyrus? Who prefers Vega?
I'm in the serious.
So serious,
Oh,
serious in the chat. Chat. How do you fight the air? Mix the Cirruses in his army. Yeah, you could have like one Cirrus with a detonation and one without, and you just like mix them, change them position regularly so that you confuse him. That can be because you cannot like check if there is a detonation or not before like using some. Yeah, so you're more a Sam guy ultimate. I'll show off a stream while we talk. With a lot of Sam, Haba can just go Ravagers. Yeah, but late game, it's very hard to like do well with Ravagers and Vipers. Usually, it's they kind of the clouds make them hard to use Bile correctly. But I agree. If Haba doesn't go a lot of roaches, Sam can actually push through Hosts and Guardians. Yes. Yeah, so we don't have an answer. Both Sam and Services. I guess nobody talked about Vega. So I guess Vega is less used in that context. Let's go to the next matchup versus Alarak. So I usually go one Sam into a lot of cannonballs. Cannonballs is really the solution versus everything, especially for Pathfuckers. I used to avoid Tier 3 Blaze, at least until very, very, very late game because of the reason I explained before. Cannonballs tend to get the attention when you hook them forward to the Wrathfuckers, so they don't even shoot Blaze, and it's bad versus the leaks. And yeah, basically that's it. Sometimes I add more Sams depending on the leaks. If I have air leaks, I add more Sams, but Cannonball is really the bread and butter for me.
Yes, cannonballs are very strong. I think I add more Sams if he gets lots of supplicants as well,
Mm-hmm.
or longer stun on the Alarak hero. I think
What did you say? Sorry about the stun. Yeah, the Sam
yeah.
plus
So
Mobius.
opening one Sam is, I think I also do that. But then if he has lots of supplicant, I add more Sams.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and then for Wrathwalkers, if there's starting to be many, then I think I do add Blaze. I prefer to have Blaze because he just doesn't die. So the cannonball can hook in, then they revive at the thing, and then they will start targeting Blaze.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I usually do if there's lots of Wrathwalker.
Mm-hmm. He was talking about Waffe. I think Trump was talking about. I think Trump was talking about. Uh, I think Trump was talking about Abatha. So people get Demon against Tychus for the armor reduction or not worth it? I don't think it's worth it. What did you say? Trump? Tychus. So it swears on Sam versus Cannonballs. You were talking about Alarak. Sam versus Alarak. I tried it a lot because it was like Corbin's build, but it doesn't work versus Mass Cannonball. Most Sam doesn't work versus Mass Vartfokers. I can understand the idea behind it. The idea is that you need to kill all the army fast to reach the Vartfokers, the Waffe workers, but in practice, Cannonball just worked better, I think. There's no really any discussion about that, but yeah. Two Sam? Why two Sam? To permastun? So right now you see Woffe playing. He take my sound, I take his image. Okay, that's done for Abathur. If you have something else to do, please say it. Alarak. So Sam, one Sam, cannonballs, maybe a second Sam for the ults. More cannonballs usually. And maybe tier 3 Nikara Blaze late. Nikara, I do it a bit later. Usually in this matchup, I think Mass Cannonball is really the bread and butter. And usually Nikara doesn't go well with cannonballs, so I don't do her very early. Artanis with Lee versus Dehaka. I think it's kind of the same build than for Artanis Alarak. You need one Sam and a lot of cannonballs, usually. Maybe in this matchup, Nikara is much better. What do you do versus Guardians usually? I guess Circes. And yeah, I don't know. Maybe tier 3 Kev, very late game versus ground. What do you think, Noobility?
Similar. Honestly, I tend to not go mass cannonball
Do you
usually.
tend to not go Mass Cannonball?
I, I mean, it depends on what the Dehaka builds, but I tend to have Evs and cannonballs mixed in usually, and maybe even a blaze if there's a lot of lings or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then yeah, for Guardian, I don't think I ever get serious versus Dehaka. I tend to get Sams and Vegas
Mm-hmm.
for the Guardians.
Yeah, Sam is good also versus the ground. That's a good thing. Yeah, Ultimate Fight, one of the. That's the problem of boss. Well, they might like some DPS sometimes. Confusing the Guardian, yes. Mass Cannonball. Okay. Anything else to add from the chat or from you?
I've seen some mass SAM builds as well.
Yeah, Massam can work.
With full geared Nikara, it actually works quite well against, especially against tier one Deaka kind of build.
Maybe it depends if you push or not. If you're being pushed, the SAM don't work versus the host plus lurkers will like kill the SAM very fast. If you're pushing, and you can the SAM works better than the cannonball. It has more DPS. It kills the army faster, and I could see that.
Yes, of course, depends on the waves, but it's just one of the builds I have seen.
Mm-hmm. We're talking about Dehaka.
Do you,
92. We're talking about Dehaka, and Dehaka has much lower range on the Guardians. Okay,
do
versus
you get
Phoenix. Mm-hmm.
for the
Go.
SAM versus the Haka? Do you get the stun and the damage, or just the damage, or just the stun? What do you usually do?
The stun, I don't know. It depends. But the damage, I do it after Dehaka reaches a certain size. I think
I
killing
think
the
I
Dehaka
usually
fast is the key to reaching the army. And you?
yes, similar. So I think I only get damage because stun is useful if you can prevent him roaring, but it usually happens anyway. So I just don't get stunned.
Yeah. Yes. Stunning the Dehaka is not that powerful. And if you kill it, you kill it. Okay, versus Phoenix. So same up and Sam. This time I do them both the Mobius, the stun and the damage. I want to kill the hero fast, but usually opening hero is kind of bad as Phoenix versus Tychus. You can just kill it too easily. So one time versus the hero, Blair's one Nikara and Blaze versus the ground versus usually he goes Mass Adepts. And late game Kev, tier 3 Kev.
I think it's similar. What do you do when he mixes immortal and adept?
When
Do
he
you
does
add
what?
cannonball? Immortals and adepts.
I think honestly it's really not that strong. If there is just a couple immortals, I just go on with my blazes. If there's really a lot, I add if there's like a 5, 6, 7, I do a cannonball maybe. But honestly, I'm really not scared if he does immortal. But Kevin also
For me,
works. Tetra Kev.
I tend to not get stun on Sam, by the way,
You don't stand on some
because yeah, because if he's on the what's it called, the non-dragon, what is it called, the moving
Walker. I call it the Walker form.
spinning one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if it's in the walker form, then and if they're playing well, they'll charge and spin at the same time anyway. So the stun doesn't really do anything.
Yeah, it might be hard to do it well.
Yeah, so I don't really just get damage. Most of the time.
Sorry. Yeah, that's a good point versus a good Tychus. But honestly, if you don't do the stun, you don't have to precast the whirl. And if you don't have to precast the whirl, his whirl is much more damage, do much more damage. Because the only way to avoid the stun is to whirl and then dash. And then your whirl is much shorter on the right spot. So the stun might be good anyway, in my opinion. Even if he like managed to like ball. Nikira burst heal.
When he goes for When he goes for Arbiter, what do you go? I think Arbiter is the most annoying unit.
Yeah.
I tend to get serious.
I go Sirius for Arbiter, but he can be very annoying with his cloak.
Yes.
And you?
Yes, I also tend to go serious.
And yeah, Vega versus carriers, I guess. Sometimes just Sams are enough. Nikara burst heal upgrade nullified the dash spin. Yeah. Good point. Yeah, the burst heal can be good in that. I think the burst heal is an upgrade that we don't do enough. But sometimes it's either I tend to do burst heal in matchup in which I don't need the Nikara boost, damage boost. Because if I pre-heal Nikara, I kind of waste my heal. If I pre-heal before the grenade, I don't. I always do damage boost on Sam. I mean damage boost, the grenade damage.
Yes, because if you don't have damage boost, then after the nade, he will just shield again. Walker.
Yeah. Yeah, grenade damage. Anything else to add from the chat? Let's finish the matchups. It's been already. I want to finish before the 2 hours mark. I want to be less than 2 hours. Honor, we did it. Carax, we did it. Kerrigan, we did it. Nova, Mensk. Yeah, Mensk. Do we need to call up? Do we need to talk about this? Okay, so versus Mensk, Cannonball and Kev are keys. If I see Aegis, I do one Vega, but not right away. And I like the tier 3 Vega with the damage boost and the duration. So that one Aegis can kill the whole army. I usually don't do don't do one Vega per Aegis. I think it's overkill. I do maybe one Vega per 2 or 3 Aegis if he goes the Aegis path. Basically Cannonball versus ES and Kev versus anything else.
Interesting. I usually open with a blaze and then a cannonball later on.
You open blaze?
Yeah, because I don't know. I find Lings very annoying.
Okay.
But maybe cannonball is also maybe better because then you can. One of the strat is you jump in and then everything comes to cannonball and then you nade, so you kill most of the Lings at the same time. Maybe that's better.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't have a lot of problem with links, so I never open blaze. Yeah, HDMK. We don't have a guide for unfortunately for this game. I mean, there's a one on Discord, but it's very outdated. But you can still look at it on the official Discord. I guess you know it if you play standard. In the commander mode, you go into pinned message and you will find an old guide. Or yeah, it's all we have for the moment. So, and what do you think about Kevin Cannonballs generally?
Yes, they are all the matchup. I think in all matchups I tend to get maybe not enough cannonballs, but yeah.
The other day I saw you like doing full geared Sam versus Mansk. Is that something you often do? And you're not the only one who I saw doing that.
Not really.
Not really.
That one was more because we had the Horner. It is
Ah,
the
yeah, we
game
had the
with the
honor.
two characters Horner. So I kind of was thinking at some
Yeah,
point I'm probably gonna need full gear Sam.
yeah,
So
true, true.
and
Yeah,
I think my opponent was going mass what is it? Mass Aegis. And obviously Vega would have been a better choice than Sam's, but
yeah, you couldn't
because
with
of
the
the
honor.
situation I went for Sam instead.
Okay. Anything in the chat? Any feedback in the chat about Tychus versus Mengsk? So it should be an easy matchup, especially late game. The ES are Emperor Shadow are annoying early game, but Cannonballs should deal with it. Kevin should deal with any ground, I guess. You can go tier 3 with it if you want. And Kevin are good in general. Cannonball are good in general. And yeah, sometimes you want to control his unit, so one Vega can be good.
Honestly, I'm more scared of Aegis than Emperor Shadow
Really? Okay.
because the Emperor Shadow, when you have Nikara, if you just get Burst Steel upgrade, basically, at least during the fight, nothing dies.
Mm-hmm.
But with Aegis, if you misclick or something, then that thing will do a lot of damage to you. So I prefer fighting Emperor Shadow.
Okay. Okay. According to Scipion, Mengs beat Tychus late game with Mass Black Hammer. I cannot see that. Kevin is just stronger, no? Do you agree with that?
But then you can just add one or two tier 3 plays, no?
What? Tier 3 Blaze?
Thing when he gets many Black Hammers.
I don't know. Black Hammers don't do much more than 30 damage, I think. Maybe versus tank, Tier 3 Blaze, but
They
versus
do
Black Hammer?
something like 70.
70? Ah, I don't know. I
Yeah,
don't know. I
they
don't
do
know.
a lot of
I
damage.
would use Kevin honestly versus Black Hammers for the DPS because you need to kill them.
I mean, you do need to kill them, but like you need to tank because usually they're mixed in with everything else, right?
Yeah, yeah, but everything else is mostly armored.
Mm.
Flame Troopers, Warhounds, Ultras. Only the Lings are a bit annoying. What do you need Nikara boost for? When you die fast, I guess? The most obvious choice for me is like versus Farazun. You know, there's the DT burst, Shadow Fury. You can heal it afterwards. Maybe it's
I
for
think I get
1v1.
burst.
Maybe 1v1 I don't know. I couldn't see Meng's late game beating Tychus, but maybe it's me. Anything else to add about this matchup?
No, not really.
Okay, 1 second. Okay, I'm back. 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay. So we go on to the next one.
Yes.
So what do we have again?
Setman.
Nova is done. Rainer is done. Setman. Oh my god, I'm tired. Let's go fast. So I do cannonball. So usually Setman will go links lurkers. I like cannonball versus lurkers. One blaze versus the links, and if there is too many links, I go Nuxes. One Nuxes for the links, because Nuxes links don't have that damage threshold versus the Nux. One Sam for Gary, of course. And Circes also versus Gary can be good. Circes that can be maybe better than Sam for the opening, but you need the Sam for Super Gary. What do you think?
I prefer Sirius against as an opener because if they because the turret also has detection, so
yes,
they
true.
go not many lings and just lurker, then you can still get detection through that. So
true. What else?
So versus I also get Kev when they eventually for
What? You had what?
lurkers, and also I get a Kev.
Ah, yeah, Kevin. Kevin is very good in the matchup.
Yes, for
And you can get Cheat
the
Kev also in the matchup for also versus the links.
yes. Yes.
And also one thing that is important is that some Tychus like to go infestors. So if he goes infestors, I think it's one of the situations where you have the damage upgrade from Tychus plus the pre-heal from Nikara. You heal Nikara, you can one shot the
eggs.
You can one shot the infestation. You can one shot the roaches when they are in their egg. And if you build really a lot, then Nuxes is pretty good. You can Nuxes the infestations, the Mecha Ravagers.
Yes.
Okay.
I think
anything else to add?
Good.
Yes.
If the Stedman is good, then they will use Infestor backwards, not forwards. So then I think you need Nux if there's too many, along with Tychus need.
So sorry, I didn't get it.
So if there are many Infestors, then
Yes.
you definitely need Nux.
Yes. The first one, Tychus plus Grenade would be good. Carapril, and then Nuxes, yes. What did I miss? His chat? Mengsk didn't survive long in 1v1. There's Burstial need one shot Hydra also, yes, but usually you don't fight Hydra, but yes. Vega, Lurker Tunnel. Hydra is so fun. Yeah, so I think it's a bug. You can control Mecha Lurker with Vega and then use the tunnel ability for backward for them. I mean forward for you. And then the vision will stay. That's a kind of a little trick you can use. Yes. Okay, anything else to say about the matchup?
No, I think we can move to next.
Okay, let's go. We have Stukov, Swan, Fora, and Zagara to do. Whew. Okay, Stukov. Alors. So I like to open series after my Tychus to get. Usually he goes benches. If he goes benches, I like to open series first. It gives you vision with the tier 2 with the turrets, and it gives you like much more DPS than Nikera. I like to do Nikera 2 after. I like to go Blaze and Kev versus the ground. If he goes bunker, 1 Vega, maybe 2. But he's not compulsory in my opinion. If it's not good versus the other way, I don't do it. I don't do Vega. But it's kind of punished the bunker. I don't know, tier 3 Kev late game for versus the ground, and only Cersei versus the air, I guess. Maybe Noxus if there is really a lot of very late game, maybe, I don't know. And of course Sam versus Alexander.
Yes. I think
What's your take?
Cannonball is also important because tanks.
Ah, yeah, Cannonball versus tanks, yes. Any feedback from the chat? Anything else to add versus Tychus versus Sukov? So versus Sukov is really like the combination of having usually a good Sukov will have some ground like sieves and stuff to like annoys you and a lot of benches. So Cersei is really the key here, and 1 Blaze on the ground to like deal with the light units. 1 Kev if there is armored unit on the ground. Sometimes there is a lot of Diamondbacks also to deal with your Cersei. So here cannonballs can also be good. Anything else to add? Okay, versus Swan. So here it's pretty straightforward. You need cannonballs. So usually a good Swan will do a lot of cyclones with a couple of bats in front. So you need cannonballs to plus revive, I think, versus the cyclones. Maybe the plus revive is debatable. If there is a lot of Hellbats, you need 1 Blaze. I've seen recently Vafe doing SAMs for the DPS behind. I think if you have the front line to allow them to do the DPS, it's pretty good. Cersei versus Wraith, I guess. But as you have Sams, maybe you can start with Sams. It's good versus goes. Maybe Noxus if there is really a lot of Wraith. Cersei are useful versus Vessels. What do you think? What's your take?
I tend to get less cannonball until later.
Less cannonball?
But yeah, in fact, I don't really get cannonball until later. And
Really? What do you start
so
with?
So if there's lots of Hellbats, I get a Blaze. Otherwise, it's a bunch of Kevs and then Nikara. And Tychus Nate Pull is very important to cancel the cyclones. And then
Tychus Nate. What? Can sorry, I wasn't focused. What did you say?
The Tychus Nate the stun.
Versus Vessels?
Is important. No, versus cyclones.
Ah, yeah.
Because
okay,
I don't open cannonball usually.
Okay.
So
what do you do? What's your first unit then?
So Tychus, and then if he opens Cyclone, then I go Kev. Usually it's Kev. And then
even if he has a front line of Hellbat. Okay.
If there's lots of Hellbat, then I go Blaze first.
Okay. So basically Kev and Blaze instead of cannonballs.
Yes.
Okay.
And then I make sure to get +1 attack after I get Nikara, so that Kev can shot the Cyclones on auto attack. Yeah. And then later on, yeah, the cannonball becomes necessary as game gets later. And actually, I prefer Vega versus Air. So I bring everything down and then kill it with Kevs. Usually.
Okay, versus Air, you mean like Wraith or versus Vessels?
Both.
Okay. Okay. What do you think, chat, about that? Vega versus Swan Air. I never do it, to be honest, but maybe it's good. It's true that you have a lot of anti-ground unit in this matchup, so bringing the unit down can be a solution, I guess. Alors, there's messages. If you macro banshees, Circes make no damage. If you macro banshees ground, Circes make no damage with the A and then banshees back on air. I don't know that. Maybe. I never faced that. Sam versus Swan Air. Sam better than Blaze for Hellbat. Ah, really? Ah, interesting. That's why you do Hellbat then. Blaze is nice for the slow and the layer. Both are nice units together, I found. Yeah, maybe one Blaze. And if he commits like more Sams, I don't know. Could be a nice
I think
compromise.
Blaze is effective only with Tychus Nade, which is what I do.
Yeah, Vafe says never go Kev early versus one, and I would agree with that. It just says too fast to Cyclones. If you don't have the front line to defend it. Kev is Zach Sam unit. I mean, we can disagree on that one, but. Yeah, ultimate fight goes Nade on Cyclone plus Hellbat Oil, but then stun boss one. Yeah, Nade on Cyclone is pretty important, I think, in this matchup. Vega confused good versus Wraith. Yeah, so they agree with you without the Vega. And what about the vessels? How do you deal with vessels, chat? Because, yeah, Noob goes Vega, I go Circes. Or Sam. Sam versus vessels? Okay. Ah, interesting. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, maybe I was wrong with my Circes. I don't know. I'll try it. Isn't there much meat for Vega to get through? Blah blah blah. I get one. Yeah. One Blaze is okay if the oil work on Cyclones. Yeah, Wraith is not viable versus Tychus, but some Swan do some. To be annoying, to force units, maybe it's a bad reaction. And sometimes for the leaks. Because it's one of the units that's also good versus the air, so I don't know. Okay. Anything else to add? So Vafe, I'm stealing your content right now. Hope you're okay. Up. Tychus versus Tychus. Oh, Tychus versus Tychus, the most interesting one. So I have no idea how to play this matchup. I've heard about Blazes and Sams, but I cannot make it work well. I think you need to open cannonballs, otherwise it just die. I can't even beat Blaze and Sam with that. Cannonball plus revive, just too strong for me, but people will disagree on that one for me. And then I add Sam's once I have like maybe 2 cannonballs with revive, if not more. If I see really a lot of cannonballs, I do a Kevin. If I see really a lot of blazes, I do a no. If I do really a lot of cannonball, I do a blaze. If I see really a lot of blaze, I do a Kevin. And yeah, I always add Sam in the back at the end in mid game. And I avoid doing Ikara at least until late game. Late game, I think the damage boost is worth it, but before it's not. And yeah, that's my take on it. That's yours.
I never go cannonball. I think cannonball is only very strong after tier 3 upgrade. And
Yeah.
before that, the Sam with stun counters it too hard, in my opinion.
This time with stun
So,
consider it too hard. Yeah.
yeah, so I tend to usually I think Sam is the core of the matchup. So I open with a few Sams, and then depending on what they get, if they're going cannonballs, I start adding a few blazes. And I actually prefer Sams with damage, but usually I only do that after I see what they're building. So I tend to open with no upgrades, just Sams and maybe a few blazes. And
Yeah.
then depending on what they do, I will get stun or damage or those upgrades, depending on what they
The
do.
damage are really worth it in my opinion, because the time the grenade explodes, the unit is often half HP, if not less. But yeah, I see some people doing it. So I guess some people agree with you. The stun, I agree with you, it's debatable because I don't feel it's that strong. It's only strong if you can like stun before before Sam send his own grenade. But if it doesn't, I don't feel it's that strong. But it's not bad. I think I'm always on the edge between doing the stun and not doing the stun. So rely a lot on Sams. I think I agree. Wofe is telling me never Kevin Mirror. So what do you do, Wafe versus Mass Blaze? Do you do Sams?
Yeah. I,
Blaze versus Blaze? Okay.
I disagree with that.
But
I think just a few blazes and then Sams with damage is stronger than Mass Blaze.
okay. But
And if
Sam
they
is not
get
that good
Kevin,
versus
you just
Blaze.
so that's why you have few blaze at the front, and then
No, of course.
just to kind of give you a
Ultimate
point.
Fight, you didn't hear me. I say if he, my sentence was, if he does really a lot of blazes, I do at the Kev. Because I think it's a mistake to do a lot of blazes. And blazes will come in front, and I don't know. Kevin are good at. If I see like 3 or 4 blazes or more, I go Kev. I do one Kev.
Um, with
If
the
he
Kev,
makes,
the issue is they can get a Sam and then just snipe your backline. That's what I do.
can you explain?
So if you get Kevs for Mass Blaze or whatever, you get a Sam and then you just snipe the Kev. So in my opinion, Sams are very important. In fact, I think I sent you a video about the mirror.
No.
Oh, okay. But anyway, on that one, I go through, like, I did quite a lot of testing, and from what I saw, at least whatever I tried, the spew blazes and mass Sam or cannonball and Sams, I think were the strongest ones. But with cannonball and Sam, you have to micro the Sams on the opposing Sams, otherwise you kind of die. At least from whatever I tried. At least that anyway. few blazes and then mass Sam with damage or damage and stun depending on situation is personally my go-to build, and you don't need to micro that much usually.
Okay.
That's why I like it.
So Waffle Ultimate, what's your take? How do you play the Tychus versus Tychus? I'm interested in your opinion now. Do you open cannonball also? Do you follow up with Sam? When do you use Blaze? Mass Sam, few cannonball. And what upgrade on the Sam? The Mobius only? The stun? If you need armor tank. Only stun on Sam, okay. And ultimate fight? Same than Waffle, but the upgrade depend on the position. Sometimes an upgrade for... Yeah. Like the brain one, position 3. Okay. I want to go on, so let's go for we have 2 more matchups. So versus Forazone, it's a very tricky one because Tychus rape a beginner Forazone, but lose versus a pro Forazone that micro perfectly. I think Nikara and Sam are 2 units you might need very fast. If you open DTs, maybe your Blaze versus DTs for sure. DTs and Shadow Guards. You need a Nikara with the boost versus the DTs. The burst heal, I mean. Versus Stalkers, it's pretty easy. You can deal with them with Skev or Sams. Sam, what I like about Sam is that it's also good versus the Centurions. But you might need both. Sometimes I do one cannonball, but I'm really scared of the air. And to be honest, I'm not sure how to counter it because what is really problematic is the air with a micro on the side on the Corsairs to perma stun your ground units, and they cannot sometimes even shoot at all. What's your take? Noobility?
Similar. One thing, maybe I don't do enough Sams. I think I should try that. And late Sirius is what I definitely go versus air. Especially late game, I think you can get maybe one Sirius with explosion if they have a bunch of Corsair.
Mm-hmm.
Then that can either that will make the Warzone either just accept that there's going to be one exploding Sirius in their wave, or they will disable the or micro everything but that Sirius. But then that can be kind of hard. So yeah, maybe one explosion late game.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, yeah, similar Nikar is very important. Of course.
Yes. So Wolf is saying Sam plus Nikara versus Stalkers. Yeah, it also works better versus the VSDT Blaze, Cirrus versus Air. So, okay. So, you do Explosion, Waffe, versus DT is our Air. If you lose mid versus good for A, you're dead forever. Yeah. Permason is really annoying. And ultimate fight, how do you do it? Tell me if you like explosion. I want to go to the last matchup. I'm tired. Sometimes explosion. If it tend to put masters in the middle. Never explosion for ultimate. Okay. Okay, let's go for the last matchup. Do you have something to add, Nobility?
No, we've covered everything.
Okay, so versus Zagara. So versus Zagara, I like to open Blaze. I used to open Sam, but I think one or two Blaze opener. Do the job as well. So one Blaze, Blaze Cannonball and Tier 3 Kev. Maybe I add one Sam, but not always, to be honest, to snipe the hero. And maybe Nox's late game, very late game. But my bread and butter for early mid game is Blaze Cannonball and Rattlesnakes. What about you?
Yes, that is the same for me.
Do you use the
I
Sams?
think I only get it if it's good when I'm pushing.
Yeah, okay. Makes sense.
Also, sometimes in very late game when you're pushing, I might get a Vega or two because sometimes they get a bunch of corruptor and they run forward and then it's your army.
And how does the Vega help versus the Corruptor?
So it downs the corruptor so that your army doesn't get split.
Ah, okay.
So
That's
it
expensive to
only
avoid the
happens when you're
Corruptors.
pushing.
Okay.
And then she can also take aberration. So, yeah, but I think keeping army together is kind of important. So
Ultimate
because of
Fight
that,
is saying that
but it
Circe
only
is...
happens.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it only happens when you're pushing. So
Yes. Ultimate Fight
usually,
say
obviously,
Circe will
Vega
be in
jump.
stasis, but I guess that for me that's an argument for doing the explosion because when in stasis it will walk forward and just explode in the middle of the air units usually. I think it can be good, but it's very dangerous because if your Cyrus don't explode for something useful, you lost a lot of money. About what you were saying, yeah, maybe Vega. I never used Vega in the matchup, but maybe it's good. Yeah, I guess if you can control an aberration. For the copters, I'm not sure because it's very expensive to control for just the copters control. I mean, to avoid the copters
I,
debuff.
I, I'm saying not the normal build. I'm just saying if you're pushing
Yeah, I got
and
that.
situations where that happens. So for that situation, because you're probably winning at that point, so you can afford a little bit.
Mhm. Yeah,
So that's when I get paid to keep.
okay, I understand it. Not if he says as well. Okay, I don't know. I never played that often versus a good Farazan, just a couple times. And it was pretty hard, I have to admit. About Zagara, Waffe Ultimate, do you have any, or anyone else, do you have any way to do it? Do you do Sams? First question. And second question, do you also do like your Blaze Cannonball and Tetri Rattlesnakes? Cannonballs and Tetri KF preferably. Yeah, so no Blaze, you don't do Blaze? Oh, putain. But Nux maybe later if spamming Hydra. Yeah. So cannonballs in Tetrikev preferably, okay. And the Ultimate Fight says Tychus, Nikara, Kev, Boswell if into Zergling. And then Kev tier 3. Okay. So cannonball, what is the use of the cannonball to tank? I guess. Next better. Okay. After 2 Kev, tier 3 I make like Nux, a lot of Hydra or Labor Operation. Never jump Boswell all in one time, just for win time, for kill. Never jump Boswell all in one time. What does that mean? I'm not sure.
I think it means time the Boswell's going jumping in.
Okay.
Don't go all at once.
In that. For Zegar to beat Tychus, I think you need to micro the copters. To micro one copter per Tychus units. A lot of Hydra. Links, some Roach, some Queens, some Banes, and some Aberration late game. Cannonball is better because you can make them not good in the same time, so win more time. Because Hunter Killer will kill 1 if you jump 2, they will spread the DPS. So win more time. Because Hunter Killer will kill 1, if you jump 2, they will spread the DPS. He wants to generate maximal overkill on 1 cannonball. When blades take a lot of damage of AoE, and they are in 1 AoE, so Hunter Killer attack both of them. You not win time. I'm sorry, Ultimate Fight. I'm not sure I understand. Do you want to hook both of cannonballs at the same time or not? I don't really get what you're saying. If you got 2 Boswells, they will dead at the same time. If you just throw one, so you throw 1 cannonball and then you wait that it die and then a second one. That's what I understand. Okay, throw 1 by 1. Okay, but you do more than 1. Do you upgrade your Nux or not?
I think upgrade is necessary.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not the time, but the damage and area.
Yeah, Ultimate Fight is agreeing with you. Okay. One general tip maybe against for Tychus is it's very easy to reposition your army. So abuse it, change the side, reposition, go front, go back. It's really easy to reposition. So you should do it pretty often. Yeah. Yeah, I think Zagara is unfavored in the matchup, especially late game. But it's not that unfavored if the Zagara plays well.
I think even late game it can be quite strong.
Yeah.
Maybe still slightly Tychus favorite, but
yeah, a good Zagara can do well with good positioning is key, copters micro is key, and yeah. Anyway, anything else to add from you, Noobility, about
Regarding
anything?
the guard, no, about anything.
Both.
Um,
Uh, uh,
I think, well, it's usually balance between so getting your units out, but then you should like general advice as you were giving just now. Um, Usually early game you want more units, and late game you can think about more upgrades.
yes.
And late
Be
game, guitar is nearly always good, even if we didn't get early.
yes for the damage boost because it applies to a lot of units.
Yes.
And also, one other piece of advice is Tychus is a reactive commander. You cannot like impose your build. You need to react to what your opponent does. It's almost never. You cannot. If you don't know what your opponent is doing, just don't build stuff. Just wait to adapt to what you see because there are commanders like Alarak where you can like put pressure with a basic build like Stalkers early game. And it's almost always good, if not always. And there are some in which you cannot. And Tychus is one of the upgrade that you cannot. And don't do upgrades that you don't understand. The concepts upgrades are expensive. They need to be like server purpose.
Also, maybe for micro, I don't know if you're like really good at micro, it probably doesn't matter to you, but like you need to know priority for what to micro, maybe, especially
What?
late game
Sorry, what was the
where you
question?
can,
I was reading.
um, for micro, if you are very fast, it probably doesn't matter. But especially towards late game, you need to know what to prioritize so that like the other stuff
Yes.
you can auto cast if you're not fast enough. But you need to know the priority of what to do so that you
Yeah.
can micro those at least.
Early game, the Nikara and Tychus Grenade is very important. Late game, it becomes a bit less important. Vega and Noxes are probably more important, I would say. Cannonball, maybe. Yeah, and good point, Ultimate Fight. What you see on the screen right now is I don't look the game, but it might be a bit of a troll build, and or maybe it's very situational. I don't know how he's versus Statman, and as you see, it's not working that well for now. Chat, anything to add about any matchup, anything, or any general tip about Tychus? You just check the only time he lost, but the game is not over, right? The game is not over. So I'll continue with some games. I'll play a bit and cast a bit. Right now I'll read you back to the Waffle channel so that you can like watch the end of this awesome game that looks very fun to watch, and you have a Tychus, so you can it's thematic, I guess. Thank you very much, Nobility, for your help. Thank you for your replays, for your
Thank
analysis.
you for having me. Sorry about Mike hasn't been that good, but thank you.
No worries. Okay, guys, see you later. Yeah, I'll play some game if I can find some like, or I'm a bit tired, I don't know. Ah, putain. Or maybe I do a small break and then I stream a bit. Oh là là. No, you know what? I'll do a break. It was a pleasure to have you, and yeah, see you next time. Have the raid work? I know it doesn't work. Okay, I'm reading now.